I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the great Valmiki who gave us the epic Ramayana. Now, I sometimes wonder that did Valmiki ever have this imposter syndrome? Because he was not intending to become what he became, yet he became that. And even after he wrote Ramayana, did that doubt ever come to him? Some interesting facts about some interesting facts. Why isn't this going down? Sorry. Yes. So imposter syndrome is what I'm referring to today. And imposter syndrome is actually, yes, imposter syndrome is actually a belief that sets into you wherein you feel that you are not as competent as you are perceived, as people perceive you to be. As people perceive, you have to excuse me, please. I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Absolutely okay, absolutely okay.
क्या हुआ बेटा? बेटा 2 minutes दो मम्मा को. हाँ. ये लो इससे मिलाओ फिर. Hello. I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
So don't worry, I have also stopped the timer.
Okay. Yes. So I was talking about that imposter syndrome is actually that belief in you that sets in wherein you start feeling that you're not as competent as others perceive you to be. So if I were to represent imposter syndrome, this is how it would look. And in reality, this is what the reality is. So what causes imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome has 4 major causes, what researchers have established, which is one, it is self-doubt. When you start doubting yourself, you go low on confidence. But how does that happen? That's mostly because when you start getting criticized, you start doubting yourself. You don't take criticism healthily. And then you have to, and whenever you have to ask for help, you get self-doubt. So everything is interrelated. And when you start comparing yourself to somebody whom you believe to be better than you, and these are some statistics which a survey has established. So these are, my son has to ask me today only everything and right now only everything. I'm so sorry for this. Yes. So all of these reasons, though interrelated, the primary reasons, top 4 reasons as responded by the people who took this survey are these 4 reasons, and the percentages are with you. And how can you turn around imposter syndrome? Okay, so you can turn around imposter syndrome. There was supposed to be a graphic here, a smart design, but
time.
Okay. So 4 major reasons how you can turn around imposter syndrome is one, telling yourself that you need not be perfect. So you have to stop chasing perfectionism. And the next thing is you have to stop comparing yourself. And the moment self-doubt comes in, you have to tell that you can do it and take a small step towards your goal or whatever it is that you are doing. So these 3 steps will help you turn around your imposter syndrome and become and truly believe in your capability. So yeah, thank you.
Superb, 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 superb. So you were so nice.
I was
Very
at
nice,
my word.
very nice.
I was at my word.
Very nice, very nice. Bahut sundar. Right. So we're going to do the observations once everyone finishes. So Shashank, are you ready?
I'll need another few minutes. I'll
Okay.
do last.
Fine, fine. So all right. So if Lakshmi Madam can carry on, then we will do with Shashank at the last. Lakshmi Madam, you can start.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Right. And once you start, I'll switch on the timer. Anupriya, that was interesting topic, huh? Because initially when you started, I thought you're going to talk about a little bit of, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all those things. But then the shift was very nice. Then you went into that concept. I think that was brilliant.
Can we start? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Huh? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about communicate to connect. Right? You must be wondering, what is this going to be? And are you all sure that whenever you communicate, do you connect with the other person? Say yes or no. Do you connect all the time, or sometimes we just talk and it just goes above the head of the other person, or they are not interested in what we are talking? So there can be a combination of this, that whether we are talking or we are just telling something to somebody. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to start with a nice activity wherein you will have to log into aw.com, aww.com, and you have to find out an adjective which goes with the first letter of your name. So shall we all log into this? Can we skip this activity? I'll just go on, huh? And
Okay.
and then you can draw your the first letter which coincides. Like I'm Lakshmi. If I write lovely Lakshmi, it has to be the L and L should coincide with my name and the adjective of my first letter. Okay, this way we will see how many people have written what words, and the bigger the word, like we saw yesterday, we'll come to know what it is all about, right? And then there are 3 steps with which we can connect with other people. So when I asked the question whether you all connect, some of you said yes, some of you said no. Most of the time we really don't know whether we connect or we don't connect, or sometimes with disconnect only we keep on talking. So there are 3 steps with which we can connect with the other person. First is you have got to impress the other person. What you are saying, the other person should be interested in what you are talking. Otherwise, there is no point in talking, and there is no point in giving any gyan or anything. Second is the other person should be convinced what you are talking, right? It is very important the other person to listen to you and should be convinced. Then only he will listen to you. Otherwise, he is not going to listen to you. And the third one is to influence the other person. So after convincing him, so if you want to say, supposing I give you an example, if you want to sell a pen or something, so you have convinced him that he requires a pen, and you have impressed him with all your designs and the categories you have, with the pens you have with you. The third one is you have got to influence him, that how how this thing is going to be useful to you, and you make him buy the product. And then I have an activity wherein you have to act out. I give you fake news as like a species of zebra with checked patterns. We normally see zebras with stripes. But here I'm going to give you a topic wherein you have to impress me, you have to convince me, you have to influence me, and then tell me that there are zebras in this world with checked patterns. And then a woman gave birth to 9 babies in Brazil. So like this, I'm going to give you a few topics wherein you have to give me a convincing result that
Time.
yes, this can happen. So with the step 1 to connect is become a connector detector. You find out how I can connect, and then the common thing can be, yes, you are also from Orissa, I am also from Orissa. So there is a common. You like cricket, I like cricket. I am a fan of Dhoni, you are also a fan of Dhoni. You find out, and then what is his interest, what is his concern, what is his expectation out of this. So you find out all this one by one. You start addressing all these things, then you get the results. So then there are this word I have created, RAP, R-A-P-P,
Okay,
recreation.
stop.
Okay, with
sorry
this,
for the
I think I have convinced you with that it requires to connect when you want to communicate. I'm sure you're all, you all agree with me that it requires that you should connect when you want to communicate something. Thank you.
Super. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Lakshmi madam. I'm sorry. I
No,
stopped
that's
you in
okay.
between. And Abhirup is very intelligent, He will always ask me to do this.
Okay, that's okay. Whoever does it.
So he does not want to take the blame then,
No,
He'll
no.
always push me, and he'll again tell me, who keeps the time?
That's okay. Yeah.
Right. So thank you, Lakshmi Menon. That was beautiful. Very nicely you presented. We're going to talk about the observations once Shashank finishes. I hope you're ready now, Shashank.
Shashank is
So-
having trouble joining in.
Yeah, that's what even I'm seeing.
Yeah. So Abhirup, what I've done is I've shared my deck with you. I'm not able to connect on laptop at all.
You send it to me on
Uh,
WhatsApp.
Yes, I've shared it with you over WhatsApp.
Okay, just give me a second.
We can try it that way. I don't know, something's wrong with my Zoom.
Yeah, because in the
Let
waiting
me-
room also, we can see there are 3 Shashanks waiting.
Oh,
And I'm continuously giving them admit.
as soon as I join, it's Zoom crashes.
Just
So-
1 second, I'm sharing.
So your system might be loaded with a lot of other stuff, I guess.
No,
So, yep, are we ready?
I can't.
Let me share.
Yeah, Anupriya, you were saying something.
so I was sharing that there's another group wherein when I join and the other person shares the screen, my system hangs. It
So the
happens
other
only
person
in that
sharing and
particular-
your system screens.
It happens in only that particular meeting and that particular login.
So is it Zoom or Microsoft Teams?
Zoom.
Zoom, acha. Strange.
It's
So, is
fine.
this one?
Yeah, this is one.
Great.
Yeah. So Shashank, once you start, I'm going to switch on the timer.
Sure. We can start now.
Yep.
Yes, we can start. So this is a presentation about Zuora. Zuora must be a really strange thing to hear. We don't. It's a very huge company, but I'm pretty sure none of us have actually heard of Zuora. But before I even delve into this particular one, I'd like to say why I picked it up in the first place. Some of us might have heard of Andy Raskin. Andy Raskin is considered one of the best venture capitalists in Silicon Valley right now. And we have actually come across this presentation because he shared it. He says this is the best sales pitch he has ever seen in his career. Now, what exactly makes this sales pitch so good is what we'd like to walk into. So if you actually move into the next slide, the slide starts with something as a major point which is being presented to the audience. It says we now live in a subscription economy. Nobody knows what's a subscription economy. It's actually a word which has been coined by Zuora itself. And this particular word hooks on to the customer and says that, okay, there is something new which has come in. And maybe, I don't know what happens actually in this particular world. And then if we move to the next slide, it presents a very beautiful case of how this has happened. There is some evidence for this particular shift from the 1970s to the 90s to the 2000s. It presents a very linear progression, making it very easy for the audience to understand what exactly is the presenter talking about. So this particular slide now talks about how there is a potential for $420 billion in the market. This definitely means that some people can capture the market and some people will not be able to. Again, if we move to the next slide, it talks about what happens to the companies if they don't actually change. And it builds upon it. If you go further down, General Electric, how it has been able to change. And it gives examples of companies which are able to change, which are not able to change. Unilever, Dollar Shave Club is considered one of the most successful. I think we have missed this slide in between. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not able to project. That's why I'm not able to say. But yeah, it talks about, it's actually building aspiration in the customer. It's showing examples of success, how huge companies are also making the transitions and trying to change. What it's actually showing is it's important to make the change. It's trying to build its case slowly but surely. People might not understand what exactly are they selling, but they are selling something. What they are selling is the change part. We can go a little further down before I make the actual case. This is actually what they want to change. What they want to say is that customers have moved on from owning a product or owning a service to actually having only a subscription. This way, they don't have to own the product. They can do it anytime they want to. These are all the benefits which a customer can have. But before doing it, Zuora was actually able to introduce a whole new concept to the customer or to the audience. And it's just building upon this at this point of time. But the actual icing on the cake comes at the last. If you go a little further down, a little more.
So time.
Yeah. What Zuora is actually doing is it's trying to get testimonials and get real life examples. The minute we are able to understand that this has actually worked, we'd be more interested in doing this. And it is bringing examples of this sort to convince its customers for the same. And this is considered one of the best sales deck and has definitely helped Zuora try and build a huge economy. I'm done.
Superb, superb. Great, great. Very nice, very new concept and very well presented. And I gave you 10 seconds more, Shashank, because, there was this coordination issue between you and Aviru. So Grace, 10 seconds to you.
Thank you. No, this actually works much better if I'm able to control, because then I can focus on each and every slide and, say what I want to say. Abhirup did help me a lot, but I was not able to land on the slide I wanted to.
True.
The reason I chose this is definitely because of Andy Raskin. He's considered a huge success in the Silicon Valley right now. And after he did this, Zuora sales went up even further than what they already had. And I think it's a really good presentation, if you ask me.
Great.
Pitch.
Superb. Right. And I don't know whether you had seen our, the demo session which me and Abhirup do. Did you witness that? Were you able to get,
No, Sashanka did not attend that.
I think Anupriya also did not, I guess.
No.
So maybe you will see eventually once we do that. So it's as we mentioned yesterday that we spend a lot of time in rehearsing and we spend a lot of time in practicing for a particular session. So by design, what we have done is all the presentations I control. So I change the slides and Abhirup speaks. Right? So, and let me tell you, we have actually evolved in that way that we are comfortable doing that way right now. Not that Abhirup cannot present his own. It's not like that. Or I cannot present my own. But
We
then,
initially started with that because I had a very bad laptop, and whenever I used to share, my laptop used to crash. So I told Partho to share. So it started from there, and then it became a comfort zone.
That became a comfort zone, and nowadays, it's very nice the way that we, do it between us. So again, so that has evolved with practice. So obviously, if you practice those things, so even if someone else controls it, so then you can actually. Why I'm saying this is because good that this thing came up right now, because I would have actually spoken about this a little later. The point is that whenever we are planning for a session, these things are to be kept in mind, that there could be exigencies, and in an online platform you need to have all these backups and everything done right now. In this session I'm not doing that, because me and Abhiru, both of us are there, so even if I disconnect, he's there, he disconnects, I'm there. So that's an advantage of a dual trainer doing it. But whenever Abhiru does single sessions or I do single sessions, I log in from my desktop or laptop wherever I'm presenting. I also log in from my phone. Why? Because in case there is some connectivity issues or something, then I'm connected with the audience with the phone. I might not be able to present from my phone, but at least I'm connected. Because in online delivery, what happens is, there's this term called dead air. Dead air. Right? So what is dead air? Dead air is everyone is muted. No one is talking. Right? So how does that happen? Suppose you have called some call center, and you will see that the other person on the line, that the person who is actually representative of the company, may be working or doing something, and at times they mute, and there's blank. You can't hear. Then you will say, "Hello, you there?" Then yes, sir, I'm there. So that vacant time is called dead air. Now that also happens in online programs. Offline, what happens is people are seeing you, you are seeing them. So even if your laptop is doing some issue, or you're changing slides, or you are trying to showcase your video or something, people are seeing that, okay, you are into it. So they're still connected. But in online, they're not able to see you. What are you doing here? So you have to constantly keep that connect with them. So a 5-second dead air is enough for a person to get disconnected. So 5 seconds seems very less, okay? But I'll show how 5 seconds is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lot of time. Huh? Enough for you to pick up your phone and look into the WhatsApp. And if you do that, you are disconnected. And it is very difficult for the trainer to pull that person back because you have got into the WhatsApp or any other thing. So you are hooked there, right? So you would have seen, okay, 30 messages. Okay, let me quickly, read through this 30 messages. Then I but somewhere you are disconnected because in between you also want to reply them. You also want to. So that is why we say in online session, even if it is 5 seconds of dead air, it's dangerous. You will lose people. So it is very much important that you prepare these things because you will have technical issues. You will have such problems. Also happens in offline sessions. Yeah, Abhinav, you wanted to say something. Continue.
So what I wanted to share. So when Parthu was saying about, let's say you're fixing something or you're doing a stop share and you're trying to share a video. So generally in offline, we do that. We don't say much. People are seeing us. In online, you have to keep talking. So let me stop share and okay, fine. Now let me find the video. Yeah, oh God, I think I'm having some difficulty. So you're constantly talking. Okay, now here is the video. Great, super. Now I got the video. Okay, let me share the video and here it is. So you see the narrative. So the people are actually understanding that I'm doing something and I'm working on something. So they are connected. Otherwise, if I do this, and that's 5 seconds, huh? Less than that.
People will get disconnected. Right. So that's the difference between online and offline. But however, thanks Abhiru for bringing that. Offline also it is required. I'll give you examples. Like, this was a program that I was doing in a particular district of West Bengal. And it was a government project. So I had to go to a village panchayat to do that. And everything was ready. And, we did a dry run and everything was fantastic. And so the day this program was supposed to happen, so there were villagers who had come down. Okay, so this was a project where we were educating villagers on how this e-banking facility and everything is there in panchayats and everything, right? So government's project, and it was a program from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and I was there since morning, and we did a lot of dry runs and everything was fantastic. Just 15 minutes to 4 o'clock. There was thunder and clouds and lightning and whatnot, and power went off. Okay? And obviously, when power went off, we definitely had less participation because of the rain and everything, but we still had around 50-60 people, who were already present, and there was a covered thing, so people were there. But then power went off, so nothing works. So projector doesn't work, your laptop does not work. And in that village, we don't have a backup also. So there is no a kind of generator or anything which is there. What do I do? There are 60-70 people standing there. Even the block development officer is there. The assistant labor commissioner is there. And these are all senior people. I have to present. What do I do? So we waited for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So it was 4:15, and still it was pouring. So what do I do? So immediately I said, okay, let's open up all the windows and everything. So at least we'll get some light inside. And I started my program without any PowerPoint presentation, without anything. And I did some activities and everything. And so it was covered. So obviously, so the rain was not affecting us. But we had to do the program that way. But the point is, you have to be prepared with everything. If this is not there, then what is my backup? If that is not there, what is my backup? So how do I conduct the program? Similarly, whenever we go to any sessions, if it is in classroom sessions, normally me and Abhinav, we take 3 backups of our content. So one is there in the laptop from where we're going to present. So it's there. Second is we carry that in our pen drive. Third is we also put it in our mail. Because there are a lot of organizations who restrict pen drives. They'll not allow you to put pen drives from outside pen drives. So if they are restricting your pen drive, then how do you get your content? So then you can tell them that, okay, it's there in the drive, please download it for me. Or it's there in my mail, can I download it from there? or let me forward that mail to you. Can you download and give it to me? Right? So you have to always think about these things before you go there. So these all things will come into your design before you design and before you actually think about these things. So always think about these backup plans and everything, because both in online and offline these hazards will happen some or other day. Then what do you do?
And
I'll
today, I
give
think it
yeah.
became a classic case, with me, my presentation not running, Satsanga is not running.
Mhm. Correct. Right. So here we can shuffle, right? So we have, if it's not you, then someone else. But if you are the trainer and there are 60, 70 people looking at you, what do you do? Isn't it? So those backups and everything you have to keep in mind. I'll give you one more example. So this was for another project wherein I had been to Ranchi, and it was in a proper banquet with sound systems and everything, and it was a hotel banquet. So they had the power and everything, generator and everything was in place. So that problem was not there. Now I had to show them some videos. For there the sound systems and everything was there. And while I checked it in the morning, everything was working. But while I was playing the video was playing in my laptop. But the amplifier didn't work. So even if there was a sound system, but we could not amplify the sound. So from my laptop, the sound was coming, but it was not getting to the speaker to present. And there were around 40 odd people. So it was not reaching them. So what do? My speaker does not work. And the people are not able to hear that. What do I do? So then what did I do? Okay, because those videos were part of the contents, and the client had also told us that we have to play those videos. So if we have to play those videos and people are not able to hear that, listen to that, then what's the point? So what did I do? I played the video because projector was working and they were able to see the video. And I paused those videos, after every like 20 seconds, 25 seconds, I was pausing the video and I was narrating that this is what is happening and this is how they are talking to them. So again, I was playing it for maybe 20 seconds. Again, I was pausing it. So I was narrating. Are you following? Are you getting it? Okay, fine. Again, playing it. So once the entire video was done, then I asked someone, did you people follow? How many people followed the video? Right? So out of 40 people, maybe, some 20 odd people raised their hand. So I understood that half of the public have not understood it. So when I knew that, okay, 20 people have understood, so I picked up people from there. Okay, who's going to explain this for me? So someone stood up and explained the video once again to them. So that was what happened. What happened? I could bypass the problem and I could also engage the audience, because I actually took one person from them to again repeat the video for me. Correct? So these things you have to keep in mind whenever we are doing some programs, and this is possible both online, offline, every time. Because how many times will you repeat? Suppose there are 90 odd people nowadays. In online there are 200 people also, and definitely there will be people who would be asking for repetitions. How many times will you repeat? So then you ask for an audience to repeat for you. So that way two things are happening. You're engaging. You're also trying to check whether they are actually understood or not. Right? So that way, yeah. I mean, if you want to say.
So for Anupriya, so let's say this happened in a real scenario. Okay, your son started disturbing you. So how would you handle it? So now you were talking about some mythological thing, and then you come to imposter. You had to attend your kid because your kid is alone there. You have nobody to attend. Now you're in a real session. So the presence of mind and your preparation. So now, since you know that this might happen because he's sitting just beside you, right, watching TV or watching games or doing whatever, and you can't stop a kid from calling out his mother, right? It is not no matter how much you tell, and that will come in the most worst of the situations. Right. So now, since you have to be mentally prepared that if this happens, what do I do?
So I actually wanted to say in between that this son of mine makes me feel that gives me the imposter syndrome, that I'm not as good a trainer as I believe to be. I wanted to say
or you
that.
attend as you're attending. So you introduce this kid. Absolutely fine. People will go gaga over you. So this is my son, he's very, very naughty, but I'm naughtier than him. So what do you want? So this is what you want. Now, this is what exactly I was trying to explain it to you. And then you move into your content.
So live example
She
of an
handled it very
autonomous.
well. She said, my son has, so I think that was very natural way.
Beautiful, beautiful, yeah.
She has done.
Beautiful. But yes, but if you're not prepared, then that thing that came into your face, it was looking in your body language, that's something which you need to avoid. You should not show that you're irritated. You're in a public forum. You cannot show irritation, no matter how much you are. You are a performer out here. So include that kid in your presentation. Attend whatever little bit of.
I want to share one experience. So maybe I was nervous for some reason today. I was not in my elements, I would say. But just on Monday, I did a session. I was doing it with kids, and it was about the story arc. I was, discussing the story plot arc with them. And the example that I took was Lion King, and we were discussing Simba's character and Simba's journey. And one of my boys came in. They always come in, and then I told them, okay, fine, give me a moment, let me attend my Simba. So yes, I think I can relate with what you were saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just be prepared, because now you would know that this might happen. So whatever you're presenting, keep that thing in your mind in case this happens. So I would manage it this way. So
Right.
because these things will happen in online, you can't avoid.
Right. So it's like, your presence of mind and also your preparations, and accordingly, how do you use that as a proper way into your this thing, and good way, whatever way that you did, I think that was a fantastic thing. A little bit of apology, and also you also said that, my kid is always tries to see whenever I am engaged, he finds that time, and so a little bit of casualness and little bit of humor you brought in. So absolutely okay, because people are aware that in a home kind of a situation or online format, these things will happen. So more you try to hide it, more obvious it will become. Rather, it's open. So people will understand. And good point that Abhirup said, it should not come on your face. If it comes on your face, then it becomes very, very obvious, and people will start making fun of it. Right? So we should not be allowing that. And there are disasters. We get a lot of such videos in WhatsApp these days. Where online programs are happening and background some disaster is happening. Right? So let me tell you how to avoid that disaster. Okay, since we are again talking about that thing. Now, I am also a family man, so obviously, there are things happening all around me. Now, there are two things which actually helps me for this. So one is, if you see the background that I'm using, obviously this is a virtual background. And how does a virtual background work better? Because if you need to have a green screen behind you, okay, so that this works better. Otherwise, what will happen is, you might have seen that there are a lot of people who use these kind of screens. You look at the hand of Abhirup. See, their hand is coming and going, isn't it? But look at my hand. My hand is there completely. See, I'm moving my hand. See, I'm moving my hand. My hand is still there, right? It's not coming and going. So why is that happening? Because I've got a green screen behind me. Okay, so I'll stop my this thing, my virtual thing, and I'll do it none, and then you will be able to see this. See, I've got a screen here. So this is a screen. This is a green screen. Okay, this is a screen which I have behind. Now, the two advantages of this. One advantage, which I already said, that if you have a virtual background, then your hand will be there. It will not vanish how it was vanishing for Abhirup, right? Because it gets a reflection from this green screen and it stops that thing. Second is, whatever my kid, my family, they're doing behind the screen. You are not able to see that, isn't it? So if I remove the screen, you will see there are people sitting behind me, right? My family members, but you can't see them. Right? So that's another advantage. कि गलती से भी अगर कोई कुछ पीछे कर रहा है, it's not visible, and you have to put it in such a manner that it is within your frame. Because नहीं तो पूरा घर को आपको पर्दा लगाना पड़ेगा ना. That's not possible. So you have to see कि आप कहाँ बैठ रहे हो and what is your frame. So उसके अंदर, if you have the screen, then it helps. And color should be green, because our photography, this thing understands green color in a much more better way. Right? So if you do this, then two objectives will be fulfilled. So that's why I thought of showing that to you people, that you can use these things for any kind of virtual thing, or also to to hide something that which you don't want to show to people. So those are the things which can be done. Right? Okay, so let's go to observations now, about the presentations that we saw. So maybe let's get the observations from the participants first. Then we can, go to Mr. Davash, Dr. Davash, or John maybe, and then we can also talk about it. Yeah. So Lakshmi Madam, your observations for Anupriya and Shashank. And before she starts, let me tell you, we are sharing observations. We are sharing ways of improvement. There is no critical sense into this. We are all here to learn. So please don't feel bad or good about these things. Right? That someone else is criticizing or something like that. So we are all trying to help each other learn better. Yes, Lakshmi Madam.
Sorry if I'm sounding very. Anyway,
So
this
I
is
already
my
gave the disclaimer.
observation. That's all. Yes, disclaimer. Absolutely. And with Anupriya, I felt the storyline was very beautiful and she took it very nicely. But I felt it was little slow. At least, I mean, according to my thing, it was little slow. It can be, she can speed it up. This is my observation. Otherwise, storyline was very nice, and then she presented it beautifully, and she could connect with everyone. It was all very nice, right? And with Shashank sir, I wasn't very, you know, comfortable with whatever he was speaking. Probably I didn't understand the subject. It could be that, just that. And it was all, very, very professional, and it was too hi-fi for me. That is my observation. Though he was presenting very, very well, he was talking about the slides moving up and down, everything was good, but it was, he was talking too, what do you call, the words weren't connecting with me. That is about both of them.
All right. Thank you, madam. Okay, Anupriya, about Shashanka and Lakshmi Madam.
Okay. So I think my feedback for Lakshmi ma'am is the opposite what she has for me. I thought she was going too fast.
Okay.
The presentation wasn't structured in a so I think in arcs, being a writer and a content creator, I think in arcs. So the content was not planned in an arc to, start engaging, then give an impact and then complete it in 3.5 minutes. Because when you ended, you concluded because the time was over. Otherwise, you could have spoken for another 4 minutes. So I think that's because this time was short. That's why. Otherwise, the structure of the points that you presented, it was very good. So there's no doubts on that. So that's for Lakshmi ma'am. And for Shashanka, I feel I have only positive feedback for him. There is no suggestions for him. I think it was a very well planned presentation. He spoke well, even though he was not controlling the presentation, and maybe yes, because I was able to connect with the topic. I found it very interesting. So that could be a difference of audience, between Lakshmi ma'am and me. That's all.
Right. Super. Thank you very much, Anupriya. Yeah, Shashank, about Anupriya and Lakshmi Madam.
About Lakshmi ma'am's presentation, I actually have, I loved the fact that she started with an engagement. That was a very good way to connect with people. Beyond that, I felt this presentation was not made for 3 minutes. Maybe it was made for a much longer session, so she had to bring it down to 3 minutes. But that's not any improvement per se. I just saw it as an observation. That's it. And yes, ma'am, I actually didn't realize that, subscription economy is not the right content for this audience. This was a PPT I had used a couple of years ago, and I was like, this sounds good. That's all that I thought of. Anupriya, I actually loved your content. Huh? The first few seconds, I was not even able to understand what is the relation between imposter syndrome and a sage. That anchor was very strong. I was hooked on to the presentation. I felt you could have added more content for a 3-minute presentation, but then maybe, without the disturbance that you had, you would have been able to engage for all the 3 minutes. That's the only observation I had.
Superb, superb. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we'll go to John, so for some observations from your side.
Yes, Anupriya started very beautifully. But in between, suddenly the way she started, she didn't reach the same stage as in subsequent slide. So there was excitement when she started it. But subsequent slides, she should have added some more techniques, what I feel. And she reacted very well when her son interrupted. That was a positive way she has done it. And we should, as Partho sir and Abhirup was saying, that we should not be, if something happens, we should not feel any guilty in front of others. We should manage. I think that that way you handle very well. Rest is fine, I think, Anurup. And Sasanka, yes, it was the topic which he presented was little bit, we couldn't understand what was the topic. Only during the initial, he should have told what was the topic all about, because we also don't know. So, he should have explained what is the topic all about, initials, in the initial one sentence or two sentence. So that thing, it would have been better. And then another part was that in between, he got stuck up in one of the slide. So that should not happen. The viewers should be very clear with the matter and what you are talking about from each slide. And Lakshmi ma'am, yes, very nicely in the initial game was also interesting. And I have no issues with that.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Dabas. Sir, you're mute. You're on mute.
Okay, I enjoyed all the three. First is Anupriya. You're very confident. You started with a story that was wonderful. Story means you started with the picture, with this thing, and created that interest. That was very good interest you generated. The delivery was good, and your confidence was there, and you handled the disturbance also quite well. Well, some of the improvement areas is that your font was very, very small. I was really focusing on the fonts. Whatever the text material was very, very small. So I think, and that was, even the color could have been improved. Certainly, that was one. And I think that was one. And timing, because of that, suddenly the pressure of the time you got then perplexed. I mean, how to handle it now. So you could not conclude. So we could not know what is the relevance, what basically is. Otherwise, you have generated interest of the subject. And also that we could not get the conclusion because of this thing. About the Lakshmi, very well, good font. That was very good. I mean, it was visible. That was one thing. Relevance of the topic was given. Interest was generated. And but somewhere she could have improved was picture,
Okay.
story, or data. All these three were a bit missing. So maybe something, one or two, the font was, it was more of text there, although you use good font. So that was there, but you have generated interest. That was there. And Shashank, it was, you have used a picture, you have used data, you have used testimonials. Wonderful. But the improvement can be, what I found was that, and you're confident also, it was sometimes too technical. What was you have taken from somebody, the presentation, what was your addition? I was looking for that. What you want to conclude? What is your saying? You appears to have borrowed this from somewhere. So what was your adding your own? One was that. And also I was not clear. You said subscription. So maybe the word should have been more clear. What is the purpose of this topic? And you should have defined subscriber, converting customer to subscriber. Why we need to do that and what is the, maybe that relevance. But wonderful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dabas. Thank you so much. I think coming from your stature, it's completely, gives us a different thought process, to prepare ourselves in a much more better way. Right. So I think most of the observations are done. So I would request Abhinav in case, if he has any particular observations.
Our job becomes so easier. I'm just smiling on that.
Right.
See, basically, I'll be very frank with all three of you. I understand and I appreciate and acknowledge that obviously the timeline was not there, and it was very short a time. We told you people yesterday and we told you to present tonight. So obviously, I appreciate that. But then, having said that, when you were supposed to present and you knew you had to present, I think some bit of preparation should have gone into that, which I completely lacked in both ma'am and Anupriya. Sasanka was prepared, but again, from a content perspective, I think he lost somewhere, but that's okay. But from both Anupriya and Lakshmi ma'am, I think there was a lack of preparation in presenting in the time limit, and we kept on harping on the time limit. So present. So you might have a set presentation, which is absolutely fine, but that thing should have programmed in your mind that if I have 10 slides and if I have to present in 3.5 minutes, what are the three things which I'm going to talk about? So you have a set presentation, you don't have time to prepare anything new, which is absolutely fine. But then if I have to present in 3.5 minutes, what am I supposed to do? Which three slides I'm going to talk about? Which one I'm going to skip? Okay, so that preparation I think could have done, and doesn't take much time, because I think all three of you did a presentation which you had already done somewhere else. That's what it. So you did not.
No.
No,
Okay.
it was presented, it was prepared.
Right. So yeah, and Anupriya maybe not prepared. So that's one thing which I observe. Other things I think fine. For Sashanka, yes, because now this was not your presentation, right? It was somebody else's presentation. Now, when you're presenting somebody else's presentation, you gave all the credits, which is absolutely fine. But then, as Dr. Dabas said, that again, the target audience and how you're presenting it, right? So where you are, maybe if the participant is not there, so you have to bring down the level. You have to more explain in a more lucid form. And then what the topic that you wanted, did you really wanted to share what is there in the presentation? Or because there were two things which you were talking about. One was it was a great presentation. Second, it was a great sales pitch. And then you were talking about the company. Now, what exactly was the point? Was it that this is how a presentation should be done? This is how a sales pitch should be done? Or this is what Zoar as a company is doing? So what was the objective of the presentation? That's something maybe you could have thought a bit, because it was, if you're telling me that it is a great presentation, then you tell me why it is a great presentation. And then you don't talk about the content inside. If you're talking about that it's a great sales pitch, then you have to talk about why this is a great sales pitch and not about the subscription payment. And if you're talking what Zoar has been doing it, then you talk about what Zoar has been doing or whatever subscription payment. And then you have to explain in more lucider forms that what exactly. But if you have to do that, then again, 3.5 minutes is not enough for you, because it needs more deeper explanation of what the concept is all about. I think that's all for me.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll do one by one. I think the way this entire episode has happened right now, and we got a lot of informations and observations and areas of improvement. So let me tell you that first of all, I want to give clapping that within this short time period, all of you came up and beautifully we had so much of observations we discussed also, which are learnings for all of us. So that's a great thumbs up for this entire thing that we did. Now, coming to Anupriya madam, as I already mentioned that this transition from this Ramayana Mahabharata to this particular concept, I was fascinated, because like Dr. Dabas was also saying that it actually pulled us to that thing, because that is something which everyone we grew up understanding and learning those rituals and mythological stories and everything, and then connecting was fantastic. Now as I mentioned that, it is time and you were the first one to go. So obviously, what happened was somewhere, again, once again, I'll say body language. So I could read your face that you are like, "Arey, ab to aur 30 seconds hai. Abhi to jaldi jaldi karna hai." So once again, I'll say, because we say the face is the index of mind, right? चेहरे से पता चल जाता है that you are like zapped or you are like here. So we have to act at times, So this is also an art. Training is also an art. So if training is an art, so you have to act. So at times there could be some emotions which are flowing. Don't put it on your face. Because what happens is people will read that immediately. And what happens is in an offline session, you are standing at a podium or you are standing at a particular place, and there's a distance between where you are standing and the people. Here, it's like this much only, right? So your face is completely focused. And in Zoom, there is a method of doing speaker's view. So your would be full screen. So people can catch your face just like this. Right? So you have to be very, very cautious, that my emotions, my things, so that should not reflect my face, because people will obviously read the body language. And if they have come to a session where you are the trainer, so they're looking up to you. So obviously you would not want, people who are looking up to you to think, "Arey, ye to khud dar gayi." kind of thing, right? So, and then it can go to a different place. So, controlling your emotions in that way and, putting at times it is good to put a blank look, no emotions. I say blank. So that, it will not give any impression to the audience that what is actually going inside you, right? So that's slowly it will come as a practice. So what you can do is you can stand in front of the mirror, or at times, we all have smartphones which have got recording facilities. So while you are doing that, record the session and then you observe. So while you look yourself to yourself, then you can understand, that how was I looking? So what is the audience looking at me? How was the audience looking at me? So अपना चेहरा देखने से आपको खुद को पता चल जाएगा, अरे it was looking like this. So I need to work on it. So mirroring is something which is amazing, when you are actually preparing these things. Secondly, I would like to say, when I said time, and you knew that you had to wind up. So that was the time when there was a blank slide which was displayed. There was only a heading and there was nothing inside on the page of the slide. So then PowerPoint is something that you are actually showing to the audience. So people are looking at that and you are elaborating on that. So if you are winding up or you are saying something, then the PowerPoint also has to say something. If you are having a blank PowerPoint slide and you are just trying to wind up, so the connect with the PowerPoint and what you are saying is lost. PowerPoint is for people to look at it and you are trying to elaborate. So once again, maybe a summary slide or a conclusive slide, or
there was supposed to be a smart art on that slide.
Acha.
And, there was some technical
Which she actually mentioned there was supposed to be something, I don't know where it gone. So she actually said that.
Right.
So everything that could have gone wrong went wrong with me today. So it's a good thing. But it's a good thing because in the practice session, all these things are important. You figure out what is important and what is not important.
Correct. Okay, I'll give a solution to this. I'll give a solution to this. Suppose there are some softwares or something which is not supporting, or you are able to see the smart art, but we were not. So best way is to take a picture of that. Take a screenshot. So when you're taking a picture of it or a screenshot of it and you crop it and then you put it on the PowerPoint or wherever, or you want to make a JPG, nowadays, if you have a 2013 or a 2016 Microsoft Office, you can save as a PDF directly. So the Word can become PDF directly. So if you cannot do that, so in Google also there are free softwares available. Or online,
I realized that, yes. I should have
online also available. So you can convert this thing to one particular thing to another. So you just have to write in Google, convert doc to PDF, or PPT to PDF, or PPT to image, JPG. So it will convert. And these are all online free. You don't have to download anything. So then what will happen is, if it is a picture, then computer will show the same picture to every one of us. So then there are no things that is going to hide. Okay, so that again reminds me another thing, that whenever me and Abhirup we go for these things, we also carry a PDF version of our PowerPoint presentation. Why? Because what happens, I'll tell you the reason behind this. Reason is, I might be having a 2016 PowerPoint in my computer or laptop. But at times, when you go to corporates for classroom sessions, they might give their laptops. They might not allow our laptops. The security keeps the laptops, and normally these happens in manufacturing organizations. They will not allow your things to be taken inside. So they will say, you share your content and we will showcase it into the thing. And you see over there, they have got 2007 PowerPoint. You're gone. Why? Because whatever designs and things that you've done, it doesn't work there. But if you got a picture of it, a PDF version, it works everywhere, right? So you also have to think about those things while you are doing this. See, we are all talking about exigencies, and it's good that those things are happening today. So we are also trying to learn on things so that, when there is a real kind of session, it does not. And let me also tell you, John is smiling. I can see that Abhirup and myself, we have burnt our fingers on this. So we never had tutors to tell us that this is aisa karo, aisa karo. So we have learned in a very hard way. बोलते ना पानी में फेंक दो वैसे तैरना सीख जाएगा. So we were like that. So we discovered, and and every time we did a program, me and Abhirup on our return journey, we will try to understand. अच्छा इस बार ये गलती किया, इस बार ये खराब हुआ, इस बार वो खराब हुआ. So you got to improvise next time. And it's a constant journey. Every time there are chances of improvement which we can keep on doing. When it comes to content designing and everything. So I guess that's the few things which I wanted to say. And font, the Dr. Dabas has already mentioned, so that's already there. For Lakshmi Madam, I think the majority things have been already spoken, so I don't want to repeat that. Your PowerPoint was not full screen, so you were just presenting on a view mode, slide mode. So maybe it was reduced, and what was also happening was we were able to read your trainer notes, which were there below, which we are not supposed to disclose it to the people.
I know, yes.
Because trainer notes are for myself, right? So I won't want my trainer notes to be seen by my audience. So it's always better that you either hit a F5 on your keyboard, or there is you are aware of it.
Yes,
the PowerPoint.
I know.
So you do a full screen to it and put it that way. So there's an entire full screen and you can see that. Another thing which I'll tell you is that if you do a full screen on an online platform, because in offline what happens, there is a projector mode. So if you do a projector mode, then your screen gets divided into 3 parts, right? So I'm sure you would be aware, Lakshmi Madam, that there is one small section which shows the PowerPoint. On the top, it will show you the next slide which is going to come. Bottom niche, it will go to show you any notes or something. But that is not getting displayed there on the projector. So obviously you are able to see it. Now that does not work when we are online, right? Shashank, I believe you are able to relate to what I'm saying, right? In case you have presented, then you will see there is a presenter mode, right? Which is there. So in online, it doesn't work that way. So if you are doing full screen, then you can't read your trainer notes. So if you can't read your trainer notes, then where is the cue? How do you carry on? And again, you are not able to see your next slide. How do you do it? Right? That is a time when a second device helps.
Okay.
Right? So I normally, what I do is I have a desktop at my home, which I normally use for my, so right now also I'm on my desktop, and I have a laptop, which I normally open, which is under my desktop. Okay. So my desktop is a little elevated. So I have a space where I can fit in my laptop there. So I have both the screens upar niche. So then what I do is I do the presentation on my desktop so that people are able to view that. And whether the people are able to view it or not, like, we also have a question of asking, is my screen visible? Am I audible? That's not required if you are already logged in from a phone or another device. Why? Because the presenter view, you are able to view it because you have logged in as a participant from another device. So if you have logged in as a participant from another device, So you will be able to see the presenter mode over there.
Okay.
So your PowerPoint is actually getting presented there,
Okay.
isn't it? So you don't have to ask whether my PowerPoint is visible or not, because you're able to see that.
I can see what they are saying.
You can see what they are saying, exactly, right? Because you have logged in as a participant out there from your phone or something.
Okay.
And secondly, Zoom is a wonderful platform, but not all organizations use Zoom. You know, they use
Yes.
Microsoft Teams, or they use another one which is called WebEx, or this. So in that, what happens is the presenter mode is different, and your notes or chat mode is different. In Zoom, it is in one page only. You know, everything is one page, but there, you know, you have to toggle between sheets. So if you have a second device, maybe a phone or something, you can actually get into the mode of looking into the chat, or looking into something else, or the participants and everything from your phone. So from your phone, you are logged into as a participant, and from there you can change the screen, and you can, you know, look at the chat or look at the participants. From the desktop or laptop from your presenting, that's a presenter mode. So, and you can, you know, put your phone across the screen and you can see both at a time. So what I do is I have three actually. So I have desktop from where I'm doing it. I have a laptop niche from where I can see my slides, because I cannot see my trainer notes or slide when I'm presenting, right? And audience and chat and everything, I check it from my phone. And all three, I keep it in front of me. So I just have to look from like this, and I can see everything. Correct? And at times I tell them, and at times I make it obvious to the people. I tell them that, you know, because what happens is, suppose, you know, I'm talking to you people, so I'm looking at the camera. So you are able to understand that, yes, you know, I am having an eye contact with you. But if I start looking at my phone like this and I'm talking, then you will understand that, okay, the trainer is doing something else. But actually, I'm not doing something else. I'm actually with you only. Maybe, you know, I'm looking into my phone. So I tell them, you know, that, you know, so this is my phone. I have, you know, logged in from a different device, and I'm keeping my phone here. So anytime that I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at the chat box. Or I tell them, okay, let me look into my phone and quickly check my chat box, as Avirup was displaying, mentioning. So I say, okay, let me pick up my phone. Okay. So here, see, I'm looking different from, I'm looking away from my camera. So you might feel that, you know, I'm looking into something else, but I'm telling them what I'm doing. So I'm telling, okay, I picked up my phone. Okay, I'm scrolling, and let me see what are the chat box. Oh, okay. So Lakshmi Madam has talked about this. So that means what is happening? People are not under the impression that, you know, I have moved into something else. I'm there with you, maybe on a different screen. So tell it to them, not an issue. So these are also different ways by which, you know, you can keep yourself ready while you are, you know, presenting, especially online, because these are things which are very, very important, is what I feel. Right, Shashank, I think I don't have to say much, because most of the people have already told that. Again, presentation was brilliant, and coordination between you and Abhirup, so I discount that, because obviously, you know, that was not there earlier. However, I do agree that this content is something which might not be, this is audience specific. You know, all audience might not understand this particular thing, so we might have to check on that. But one bottom line which I'll tell, which is applicable for all three of us, is that preparation is very much required. And I'll give you an example to this. You know, all of us, we know Tony Robbins, right? Great speaker, great author, and great, you know, public speaker. Now, there was this agency who was trying to hire Tony Robbins, and it was Monday morning. So Saturday evening, he had completed one program, and you know, Sunday evening, this person said that, okay, I'm going to call you next day morning. So Monday morning, they call Tony Robbins, and they say, sir, tomorrow evening, so which is Tuesday, tomorrow evening for 1 hour from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, will you be able to take a session? So Tony Robbins says, no. So he said, why? So are you occupied? Are you busy? He said, what did you say the duration come again? He said, so 1 hour from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So it's a 1 hour session. Okay, I think Anupriya has to go for something. So I'll just wait for her to come back, and then maybe, you know, I'll narrate it. Okay, not an issue. Yeah, she's back. Great. Okay. So what I was saying, Anupriya, that, yeah, audible? Yeah. So Tony Robbins was, you know, asked for a 1 hour session. On Monday morning, he was informed that Tuesday evening from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, please, you know, deliver one session. He said, no, not possible. So people asked him, why is it not possible? Are you occupied? Are you busy? He said, no, it is not about busy or occupancy. I need at least 1 week to 10 days time. So I said, sir, you just delivered yesterday full day session. We're just saying, usi mein se 1 hour. For you, it's like my haath ka khel. So why are you saying that week, 1 week or 10 days or something? So he said, okay, let me make things clear to you. You have to understand that the content which I shared yesterday and the people who are gathered, it took me 8 complete hours to make people reach the level where I wanted them to reach. So it was a gradual process. So I started in the morning and then, I was building up. And then towards the end, I could motivate people or I could transform them the ways that. So it's a time consuming process. And that's why I'm known, because, I'm able to transform or to contribute to people's life. Now, if you say Tony Robbins session for 1 hour, would you not expect the same kind of thing, a transformation, and that people should be with, wow, after 1 hour when people are leaving? Then they said, sir, quite obvious. You are Tony Robbins. Quite obvious. So if you want me to deliver a session and create the same energy, same potential, same attraction, same kind of thing in a crash format of 1 hour, which I normally do it for 8 hours, then you have to give me time for my preparation. I cannot do it in just, aaj karke kal. You have to give me time for my preparation for that. Why? Because I have to prepare myself in that manner so that I can charge up people in a 1 hour's time. For that, I require a lot of preparation. But we actually feel the other way around. हमको लगता है यार किए तो हैं, पता तो है, 3 minutes तो कर देंगे. But it does not work that way. For smaller durations, you require more preparation because you have to create that impact. And Tony Robbins also said, what is the payment that you're going to give us? Give me. So they gave something. He said, I'm going to charge 3 times more than I charge for a full day. He said, really? For a full day session, you are charging X amount and you're asking 3X for 1 hour. Well, आप मांग भी तो रहे हैं. You're wanting the same kind of energy and everything and transformation and brilliancy and everything in 1 hour's time. So obviously I have to work hard for that. So I'll charge 3 times. Anyway, equations does not work in India that way. So, so we'll not put it that way. So anyway, but that's the thought process. So whenever we are talking about 2 minutes presentation or 3 minutes presentation, a lot of preparation is required. A lot of hard work is required. A lot of impact thing is done. And there's something called an elevator pitch, which we're going to talk on the 4th day. And Abhirup is a master in that. We're going to spend a little more time onto that. That how can you, create an impact within 30 seconds of your pitching to someone. Like, you were talking about that it's difficult to sell, or it is difficult to create a mark. It is difficult to, catch the client's attention. So it could be client, it could be boss, it could be anyone. But if you want to catch the attention, so we're going to talk about that on the 4th day. How do you make it an elevator pitch, which can be more effective in terms of catching people's attention and creating the thing, and then selling your content in much way. Right? Okay. So what I'll do quickly is, so there are some guidelines in terms of content creation and other things. I'm going to quickly share that with you, and you can take notes also. And we are also going to share these slides to you people, right? So all these we're going to mail it to you people, so you'll get everything. Whatever that we are presenting and whatever that we are talking about, materials and everything, we're going to share that with you. So nothing to worry about. So what I'll do is I'll quickly, try to open up my drive out here, and I'll see that the presentation that I have with me. I'm going to share that with you people.
Just a thing, I need
Yes,
a
yes.
10-minute break. I'll just join back with 9:45. There's a quick call I need to make.
Right. So not an issue. You're not going to miss out much on this. I'm going to talk about some strategies on content development. But we are also going to mail this to you. So in case you have any doubts, you can ask later to us.
Sure, I'll do it. Okay, I'll try to join as soon as possible. Just
carry on. We are there till 10:30.
Sure.
Right. So I'm just trying to pull out that slide so that I can show that to you on the different steps of strategizing on a content. So yes, I found it, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Now here also you can see I'm actually doing what Abhi was saying, right? So I am telling you the process that I'm going through, right? That I'm hunting for it and I'm looking for it. Okay, now I got it, and here is the screen. Now I'm sharing it, so that I'm connected with my audience. So very, very important on an online session, right? So let's get into some understanding on the content design and everything. So this says that most of the participants and everything, they forget. Like if there is a particular a session that we do, it says that majority of the people actually forget within the 30 days time. So if your content is powerful, like for Anupriya, she started with this mythological thing and then moved into this thing. It drew my attention. तो वो मुझे याद रहेगा for some time. Right? So our content has to be designed in such a manner that it amalgamates with our delivery, and it also catches the attention of people. That is the magic of content. Otherwise, आप भी बोल रहे हो, कोई दूसरा भी बोल रहा है, लोग भूल जाएंगे थोड़ी देर बाद. So as trainers and facilitators, we also have to ensure the retention of the delivery that we are making. लोगों को याद भी तो रहना चाहिए कुछ दिनों के बाद, नहीं तो लोग भूल जाएंगे, फिर बोलेंगे पता नहीं क्या तो पढ़ा के गया. Right? So it's very important that we design the content in a similar manner, right? So that's why I spoke about learning and retention. So as this graph says that a lot of people, when they read something, then the retention is around 18 to 20%. When they combine reading and seeing, and that's where PowerPoint presentation comes, because you are doing a visual impact also, so it grows up to almost near to 20%. And when you combine reading, seeing, and hearing, you can see that it's gradually improving to almost 24-25%. And if you actually make them practice, and that's why the on-the-job training is there, so you make them practice. That's where people remember the most, which is around 80%. So this is the background of the training and content and everything. And these are some basic definitions of learning and retention. That in learning we normally talk about the nervous system and how brain is actually capturing that information. And retention is it's how that memory which is already got captured is getting refreshed, and you are trying to retrieve information from them, right? So that's how the difference between learning and retention. And we as trainers and facilitators, we have to focus on retention, that whatever that we are delivering or making people explain, people should be able to retain that for a longer period. And while they are retaining that, वो आपका नाम भी उनको याद रहेगा. That's how you also create your brand. People will so that's something called a TOMA, TOMA in marketing language. It's called top of the mind awareness. Top of the mind awareness, TOMA. So for trainers also, it is very, very important that we build that TOMA for ourselves. So like currently I'm trying to market myself more into content designing and also 5S and Kaizen. So tomorrow I would also want that people, जब भी Kaizen का याद आएगा, 5S का याद आएगा, लोगों को लगेगा अरे पार्थ चक्रवर्ती. So so I will try to become the TOMA for people, so they know that अच्छा ऐसा trainer चाहिए तो पार्थ है. Like there are a lot of brands which have gone into this. Like for any kind of washing powder, people say Surf. People might be using Ariel, but they might be saying Surf. People might be using Pepsodent, but they might be saying Colgate. Okay? So that means what? The TOMA is so high that the retention has got captured, engraved into your brain. So even if you're using something else, but you're still saying a different brand. So the retention of the brand has become very, very higher. So that's how you can also create your content in similar manner that लोगों को याद आएगा आपके बारे में. And whenever that retention will happen, so people will याद चाहिए तो अनुप्रिया का content था, अरे ये तो लक्ष्मी का content था. So that's how you build your brand also. Now I'll ask you a simple question out here. There are a lot of things mentioned here. Can you understand like what are the things mentioned here? What are these things? Do you find any correlation here? There is Sonia Gandhi, Mamta Banerjee, then Mahesh, then Rahul Dravid, then there is Victoria Memorial, Marina Beach, Red Fort, Vidhan Sauda, and lot many things are mentioned out here. Any correlation here, Anupriya?
I see categories are not a direct correlation.
So correlation समझ में नहीं आ रहा, right? Some mentioned. Okay. Now, if I give some colors to it, now there is already a color, so everything is green out here. If I have to, take out some correlation, then what do? I'll do this. Now, can you see some correlation? बताइए क्या है? Anupriya, you're muted.
So the ones in green are in Delhi. The ones in orange are in Kolkata, as in
Yes.
Bengali.
Yes.
The ones in blue are in Bombay, are related to the city Bombay rather.
Correct.
So likewise.
Absolutely correct. So that means what is happening? It's all the same. Whatever is written here is also written in the next slide. Absolutely same. But since the color over here is all green, we are not able to find any correlation here. But here, since it is color coded, here you are able to find a correlation. That, all greens are Delhi, related to Delhi, and all, orange is related to West Bengal similarly. So that means there is, whenever you add some color and you design your content in such a manner, people will be able to bring out some kind of meaning out of it. Otherwise, this is meaningless. समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कुछ इसमें. This is giving some meaning. Now, let me show you a third one. This is the third one. Does it make more meaning? How? Tell me, Anupriya.
So primarily it's a matrix now. It's a matrix correlation now, wherein there is one tourist attraction from every city, one famous person from the corresponding city, and one restaurant from the same city. So it's a matrix now.
Correct. And there is if you see the color coding also, you can see from the horizontal side. So there is Red Fort, again Sonia Gandhi and Kareem. So all from Delhi, but the category is different. One is people, one is restaurant, and one is here. Similarly, for the orange one for West Bengal, Chowpatty for Mumbai, Marina Beach for Chennai, and then Vidhan Sauda and Rahul Dravid, and this is for Bangalore, right? So very uniquely you can. So even if there is no trainer here, if you just throw this slide, people will be able to understand, right? But this will require a trainer. People can't understand. So that is the power of content. So the content has to be designed in such a manner that it speaks out something. So the meaning has to come out. Why did you design it? What's the purpose? Whom is it for? What is the relevance? What is the context? Here everything is clear, right? So that's the power of content designing. So when you are designing a content, it has to be foolproof. So देखने से समझ में आना चाहिए. And then there could be a question. अगर देखने में समझ में आता है, फिर ट्रेनर की क्या जरूरत? Right? So the answer to that is, trainer will now add value to this. Right? So what is that value addition? Then maybe you are going to elaborate to it. So Red Fort has got this things. The legacy, the history behind it, and all those things. Why should we go to Kareem restaurant if you're going to Delhi? Why should you go to, Chowpatty if you're going to Mumbai? Why should you visit Marina Beach if you're going to Chennai? So these things are the value additions as a trainer that you are doing to enhance the knowledge of the audience. Right? So now I'm able to understand the connection between a content and a delivery and a requirement of a trainer. And all these three combining together will actually bring the effect to the audience. And that's the power of content out here, how you can actually frame it in a much more better way. Now, there are simple formulas to it, and I'm sure many of you would be aware of this. I'm sure I think you're aware of this. If not aware, then I'll repeat. I'll say this. Bloom's taxonomy, if you're aware. Ajay, Lakshmi madam is aware. Anupriya madam is not aware, is what she's saying. So Lakshmi madam, would you like to explain this?
Please, you do it. I
Correct.
want to hear it.
So Bloom's taxonomy is nothing, it's just a structure, for, strategizing a particular thing. So as you see, it's also, put it in a kind of a pyramid where it says creating, evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and then remembering. So first is you're trying to create a particular image in yourself. Think it from a sculpture point of view. Suppose a person who is actually hitting a particular wall and he's trying to design a sculpture. So this person will definitely have the picture of that sculpture in his mind, and he's visualizing it, and accordingly, he's hitting the hammer and he's trying to create that shape in the stone, isn't it? Similarly, when we're designing content, that thing should be there in your mind. That how are you creating it? That visual thing. From there, you evaluate, why are you doing this? Who is the audience? What are they going to get if benefited from them? What is the kind of justification that you're going to give it to them? And then what are the analyzing points that you're putting which will help the participants to distinguish between different parts, like the example which I showed in those 3 columns. So it's showing some distinction and different things. And then how are you applying that so that the information is passing on to your audience in a new way? Why I'm saying new here? Because it's the new that people are come to you. Otherwise, things are available in Google. People can Google and read it. What is difference that the people are coming to you? So you have to think that how am I going to apply this in a new way to people so that people will come to me. And then understanding that how are these ideas or concepts are going to help your participants, and are you doing some knowledge addition to them in terms of the delivery that you're doing. And finally, on the retention part, that after all these things are done, कितने लोगों को याद रह रहा है? और याद रहने का एक ही चीज है, what different are you doing? Like this Mars story which I did yesterday, isn't it? Mars coming in, planets coming in, all those things. You people will remember this, isn't it? Why? Because the delivery was done in a different manner. So obviously वो आपके दिमाग में छप गया है, आपको याद रहेगा वो चीज. That Mars, planet, Jupiter, Pluto, and whatever that I said yesterday, and I was asking you people to look outside, pink color and everything. Why? Because I added some flavor in my delivery. So you also have to think about different methods by which that remembering or the retention is enhanced while you are designing a content. Clear, na? So that's about Bloom's taxonomy, right? Very simple thing, but very, very prudent when we are talking about building a particular content in a particular way. So basically, if you look at the definition of a content is nothing but building up a particular strategy when we are trying to do. So there is a goal in the mind. Goal is definitely knowledge, and we also have to see that what kind of validation are we doing in terms of designing that content, and then how is my audience getting benefited out of it. Right? So that's basically the intent of this. And as we mentioned, that we're going to share these slides to you people, so you don't have to worry about these things. And these are some steps which we can follow while we are designing content. And any one of this you want me to explain, then I'll explain. Otherwise, I think more of these things are very common, and I'm sure you people would be aware of this. So you can just read it, and you can ask me. I'll explain in case anyone is required to be explained.
Feel the pain.
Okay.
So I need some clarity. I think I have an idea, but still need some clarity on this.
Okay. So what is the idea? Let me let you understand that first.
And step 7. So feel the pain is probably that what's the problem that you're trying to solve.
Okay.
Pain of your audience.
Okay.
Is
Correct.
it that? Is
All
it
right.
that? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm just trying to understand what you.
So that's what I understood of it. And then step 7 also I would like to be explained. Think of a tactic. Because when you're talking, choose the right tools, and how is think of a tactic different from choosing the right tool?
Correct. Right. So Lakshmi madam, any thought from your side about the feeling the pain?
I think it's what is the expectation, what they expect from me.
Mm. Correct, correct. Okay. More or less, both of you are on the right track. See, feeling the pain is, why is a training required? A training is required to meet a particular gap. There has to be a gap, right? Only then, so it could be knowledge gap, it could be skills gap, it could be attitudinal gap, right? Behavioral kind of a gap. So some gap which we are trying to fulfill by delivering the training. So while I'm designing a content, I need to understand what is that pain point that the organization is going through, or my participant is going through, or what is the gap that they are trying to address. So if as a content designer, if I do not know that, how do I direct my thought process towards building that content? Right. So that's what talks about feeling the pain and understanding the gap. Right. Okay. You mentioned about the number 7 also. So number 7 talks about think of a tactic. Okay. So let's hear it from Lakshmi Madam. What does she understand by this? Think about a tactic.
Think about a tactic is like how am I going to drive my point? Like, is it through a story, or is it through an activity, or is it through, whatever the method? Tactic could be the method. This is what I understood. Could be the method through which I'm going to.
Right.
No.
Right. Little bit. Correct.
How is it different from step 8 then?
How it is
Step
different
8.
from step 8? Okay.
Tools.
Right. Okay. Let me explain. Okay. So what is a tactic and what is a tool? Right. So Lakshmi Madam, when she was presenting today, little while ago, she said, okay, let me try to engage you audience. And she said, okay, all of you log into www.or.something, right? So that or.something is the tool that she's using. What is the technique or the tactic? Tactic is, let's get into this activity for engaging.
Okay.
Okay, so tactic is the process. How are you doing it is the tool. Now, depending on the audience, if it is a kid that you are addressing, if it is a teenager you are addressing, or it is adults like all of us that we are looking at, all of us will have different segments of understanding levels. And in training, we also talk about VAKT, like the visual, because there are different kind of learners, right? Yes. So visual, auditory, kinesthetic and tactical. So those are learners. So if we have those kind of learners, every learner will have a different way that they understand. So then we also have to devise those tactics of delivering those things. So depending on, so if you remember, Lakshmi Madam will be able to resonate this because she also works for various clients. So every time, when a client comes to us and they give us a requirement, okay, suppose presentation skills, a simple topic, or the topic that Madam was doing, communication skills. Now a communication skills for a manufacturing unit or a communication skill for a retail audience, retail industry will be different. Although it is all communication, it is all body language, tone, voice and whatever that we say. But the tactic that we will apply will be different. Why? Because in a manufacturing industry, if it is in a factory location, what kind of communication that these people do will require you to think about it, a technique or a tactic. Or it is a manufacturing agency, company, but the audience that you are actually, presenting is the sales people or the business development people who actually do sales for selling those manufacturing units. So obviously there the presentation skills will be different. Why? Because they are going to present or communicate to their clients, their vendors. So then what kind of tactic are you going to use? Depending on that, your content has to be designed. Following now? Anupriya? I think she's got some doubt. Boli.
I'm just thinking. It's making sense.
All right. You have doubts, then you can let me know. Right. So any other point?
Measuring tools?
Yes, Dr. Dabas?
You are saying about determine the measuring tools.
No, I was talking about the meaning of step 7 and step 8.
No, that I got. Okay.
So which one are you asking, sir?
10th I want to understand.
Okay, number 10. Okay, determine the measuring tools. Okay. So determine the measuring tools is something by which you are trying to understand two things. One is while you are designing a content, so definitely there would be a training need analysis or a training need thing, which analysis which you would have done. So what kind of measuring tools that you have used there to derive your TNA or TNI, and then accordingly design the content, because it is relevant to that. And secondly, before we start any particular program, we also do a training evaluation.
Yes.
To understand the knowledge level of the participants. So that's also a measuring tool. And then there is a post test that we do. Now, while we are doing that pre-test and post-test, that has to have a link with the content, because otherwise it will be out of syllabus. Then people are going to come and tell me, "To bola nahi to kahan se exam de rahe?" So it has to be linked with your content. And that's why we are saying that what kind of performance indicators are you using to measure the success of your training program, and how important it is for the organization to link that, and then you create that sense of learning and what we call about ROI, that we say, return of investment, because training is obviously about a lot of investment. So how are you going to cascade that back to the organization in terms of the knowledge and the value addition that you're doing? So what's a measuring tool? Because what happens is, if there's a regular client, they might come back and say, "Madam, aapne to 6 mahine se aap kar rahe hain, so it's the same topic, same thing. So can we have something different?" So why are they saying that? They're saying that because it could be monotonous, or it could be they have seen that, okay, they have reached where they wanted to reach. Maybe they are looking for something little more now. Right? So only those things can be evaluated if you have a particular measuring tool for doing that.
So I'll just add a bit of summarization on what the 12 content strategy technically helps you, is that whenever you are developing something, it is about who is the audience for whom you are actually making it, and how you can impact that particular audience. And that's what exists. So when we talk about a tactic, is about how you are planning to take that to the audience. What is the tool that you're going to use? How will you understand whether this particular content is working or not working? How would you measure that? Right? So it is a step-by-step process. And if you look at how you have presented today also, so if you now quickly have a look back on the content that you people had created and presented, and if you kind of put that across into these 12 steps, you would yourself understand that where are the things where you could have done a bit better, where you have done what you're supposed to do. And that's where you would be actually able to kind of crystallize about how you're going to go about next time when you're developing a content for any audience. So the first, like I said, determine your goal, feel the pain. So from whom whether the people will be understanding what you're trying to say or not, whether the connect will happen, how will you make the connect? What is the amount of information you're going to share? Us trainers, we have this habit of sharing too much in a too short a time. ये भी बोलना है, वो भी बोलना है, ऐसा भी बोलना है, अरे ये story भी करना है. No, not really. You don't need to do that. So what exactly you need to do that? What will actually have the impact? Out of 10 stories, pick one, which you're going to talk about maybe. You don't have to talk about 10 stories, right? So that is exactly what the strategy is all about, and which will help to develop a good content, and it will help you deliver better also. So because when you develop the content which you are confident of delivering, the delivery becomes actually cakewalk. So I thought I'll just.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abhirup. So any questions on this, or shall I move ahead? All right. Super. All right. So let me also talk about this particular thing, and I don't think I need to explain this because I think we should be aware of this. The idea way, or you want me to explain? Now, this is what I don't understand, Manupriya. Ye haan hai, na hai.
No, I think this is okay. You can.
This is okay. So we are aware of this. Lakshmi madam, we are aware of this. Okay, so this is nothing but a process of how do you slowly, develop your, content and everything. So very known concepts. I'm just going ahead with this. So analyzing and then designing it, then developing and implementing and evaluate. So these are more details onto it. So it has got, I'm skipping all these things because we're aware of this. So these are some signature content that, me and Abhirup have actually developed on various programs. Now, it is not that I'm trying to promote or advertise this. There is a reason why I'm asking, showing this to you people, because nowadays what has happened is there are a lot of organizations who look for a lot of tamjham kind of thing, a showbazi kind of thing. So this will actually help you to do a lot of showbazi, and at times, showbazi works. So like for Lakshmi Madam content also, she had done this. I saw that. So there was this some acronym that he was showing on the last slide, I believe, right? I can't remember, but there was like that. So it's always good that you try to come out with such things, and it works wonders with corporates. So while you are sending your project outline or some kind of thing, so people will come and, Acha, madam, ab kya cheez kara rahi hai? What are the things that you're going to say? So send all these things, LEAP, IDLE, ICAN, all those things. So they'll ask, what is LEAP? Then you say, okay, it's actually Leadership Excellence Action Plan. It's one of our signature programs, and it works. People
You were
actually
talking
get
about
used to it.
selling, right? I mean, how you sell, right? Yesterday also you were asking. So these are your selling units, or what we talk about from a product standpoint, SKUs. So if you talk about SKUs, so we have a retail, if you have a FMCG or FMCD, you will have SKU, right? Those products. So these are your product SKUs. Nothing. If you say that you want to do a stress management, a Stretchman sab karta hai. But if you give it a name and give it a nice flowery tagline to it, then it's no more remains a stress management. It becomes your content.
Yeah, I will go on.
Go ahead.
Like this one, victory.
This was super. Partho, where did he came at? I don't know. We were just talking, and he just landed up with this acronym.
Okay, so I'll tell you the background of this. So there was this.
Let me ask the participants. Can you identify what this program is all about with this name?
This victory.
Training program for telecallers. Customer orientation for telecallers, I guess.
So there was this banking and insurance company who had set up their telecalling unit. So there was some 200 telecallers, and they wanted us to help them in customer service and how they can pitch and how they can sell and how they can speak to the customers and all those things, right? Now, simple program, but then we had to give it a name so that the people think, otherwise it's just cliche. If you just say nahi, hum to customer orientation kara denge, communication kara denge, or telecalling etiquette sikha denge. Basically we are doing that only. But if you say that, it's like cliche. Aapne naya kuch nahi diya. So as we say, it's a victory program that we have designed. It's tailor-made, custom-made for you. Karenge wahi. But how are you projecting it?
Okay.
So when you're writing victory project and Tom Jam and a lot of thumbs up and all those things, Undertaker ka picture, heavy weights and boxing like this and people pulling around. So victory. And how are we relating that? If your telecallers are, groomed and they are properly trained and they are able to, speak to your customers well, you will get more customers. And how will that impact you as an organization? It will help you for generating revenue. Everyone talks about revenue, right? So we written that victory.
So now you must be wondering how we land up with these acronyms, right? So how would you land up with an acronym?
What is the process of developing?
What is the process of an act? How do you land up with an?
How do you develop this?
How do you do this?
I think you first decide on the acronym and then find the expansion. That's what I feel it is about.
Okay.
I think the other way around. You figure out what is the name or what is the program you want to do. Think of some keywords for it, and then maybe you play around with the alphabets.
Exactly. Then you find the connecting words and then find a word, a acronym.
So in your 12 content strategy, what is the first thing? Define your goal. So what do you want to do? Take a fancy name out of it. So if it's a leadership program, what do you want? So how do you connect with the leadership program? So you leap, or you bash, or you bang, or you grow, and then you break it down.
Okay.
Or you create idols. So idol is also a leadership program. Inspire, dream, organize, lead. So you're creating idols, role models, pace, customer excellence. So what do you want sales people to do? Have pace, race, pace, race, ace, and then figure. Sachan
Okay.
get laughing.
I came at this particular slide, right? There are 3 of these acronyms which are used in my organization right now.
That's what people loves. Trust me, they do.
Yes, they like it. They love it.
They love it. And there is this, we call it, there is this phrase which says that old wine in a new bottle.
New bottle, absolutely.
This is exactly what we are doing. And let me tell you, we will do exactly the same what we thought of. But you are showcasing it in a different way. And this actually works. It actually helps to catch attention. And it will also, so the person who is in your, in the corporate, who is actually maybe an HR person or a learning and development person, understand that person's psycho. He is also going to sell this to his management to get budget, right? So if he is also saying, sir, एक एजेंसी से बात हुआ, पता है विक्ट्री करके एक प्रोजेक्ट लेके आए हम लोग, I know they're connecting with revenue. अच्छा कैसे revenue? Sir, you're creating curiosity out there. So if there are 10 people bidding for that particular thing, and let me be very sure, every organization, they have multiple vendors, and every vendor knows what to be done, and every vendor also has good trainers. So उस race में, how do you make your mark? So you have to do these things to make your mark there, to establish yourself out there. Something catchy, something that attracts, something that will pull people. Only then people will come. And you see, it is sometimes it feels, myself and Abhirup, we feel proud about it, that you can see people from our previous batches are still hooked on to us. So thanks to John for joining, thanks to Dabas sir for joining. Yesterday also we had 2-3 more people who had joined, which shows that we have been able to create that legacy. We have been able to bring on some kind of that attraction which is still pulling people towards us. And for John, this is a repeat program, but still he's there. So that means we have been able to create that. So for all programs that we do, we always try to rack our brains of trying to find out that what different can we offer, what catchy can we offer, how can we pull people. Otherwise, everyone is offering the same thing.
Yes.
So for Shashank, I'll also tell you, since you're already employed somewhere, maybe this example is not relevant to you because you might not be dealing with corporates and other things, but you will have your internal things where you have to showcase things to your seniors, showcase things to your bosses. You might have to put something in a new format, as you rightly said, that you've already picked up few acronyms and other things. So there is always to learn and always to to build up something which will make you different from others. And that is
in HR, you always need to have a project name which you need to package and sell to get budget. So it's basically it's mandatory. You can't just sell the program like that. You have to create a name, connect it to something, and then only you can actually have the budget. And so as trainers also, like that also we have to follow suit, I mean, so that's what corporate is looking at, because they want to package and sell the stuff to the entire employee. See, we are doing this and that and all the stuff that they want to showcase.
Yeah, because HR also, because Abhirup had been a very successful HR for quite because he used to work with IBM and many other companies. He was there in Malaysia also for quite some time as a general manager HR. So he also understands that for since HR is normally taken as a support function, so HR also needs to beat its drums at times to the management to create that essence that yes, we are trying to do a lot of many things for our employees and engaging in all this. So they also require these things. So you can also pick up many such things which you can apply in terms of getting that attention and creating a different thing to others, right? Right. So any doubts, any questions on this? Anything?
Can I add something here?
Yeah, sir. Please.
I was given a mandate by Maruti in 2007 for 4-year contract, 12 days in a month. That was, and I evolved the word. It was a lot of discussion. The word was called Chunoti. The Chunoti was 10 lakh cars by 2010. Everybody to be trained towards this goal only, 10 lakh car by 2010. And when we achieved it, I had been invited at Hong Kong Maruti Vendor CEO meet. There were 400 people, and I was a speaker there also, including the chairman of Maruti was also one of the. He was there. But the word we chose was, it was 15 days we took. It was with Mr. Burman, with all Siddiqui, that we decided the word Chunoti. And later on, because of some reasons, I had to leave. I joined back the industry. So, but they kept the word. There was some other trainer, but they kept the word itself. So the Chunoti, like maybe some side, these type of the word also. But now I've done a lot of program. This program I was looking for support is, I call it self-empowerment team excellence. This is my signature program. I've done in a lot of companies. Last was Larsen Tubro in Chennai. So can I have can I use the brainstorming here or your support? I want to give really some name to it. The major content is self-empowerment and team excellence.
So let the team work.
I'll be really obliged for that. Now, today I have decided to give it a name, small 4-letter. Or maybe I will change the title, but my learning is that I'll change it.
So I would think something with dream, and if somebody can put the acronym.
It is both individual and team, both excellence.
So how do you put the acronym to a dream?
Why I use the word empowerment was, I was invited by Aditya Birla Group, and they said, we want to motivate our team. This was Minds. When I went there, it was a 2 days program. They kept the word motivation. So somebody said, sir, हम motivated नहीं है क्या? ये program जो motivation का रखा हुआ है. And that was a great learning. After that, I started never called motivation, any program, although all these programs are, and there was 20% increase in productivity after that, the series was taken. But I stopped using the word motivation because people say that, am I not motivated? So maybe the direct word has to be, we have to avoid these words.
Right. Superb. So determined, rejuvenated, empowered.
Amplified, ambitious minds. Yeah, cool.
I don't know, I just figured it out.
Ambitious,
Motivated
minds. John.
No, he doesn't want to use motivation.
Yes.
No, so this program
Minds
is
is
called
the
Dream.
M.
So this dream program is there.
So the program is Dream.
The program
Determined,
name is
rejuvenated,
Dream.
empowered, ambitious minds.
Yeah. So if you don't, if you're not using motivation, I think minds is nice. So determined, rejuvenated, empowered, ambitious minds. Yes. So your creative minds are completely.
I think this is a part-time job I should take. A lot of people ask me. So Dr. Davas, does it look nice? I don't know if somebody else can also figure out something else. I just thought of this one.
That's a wonderful. But today, that's a great learning for me. We had to use small words.
So you're actually selling a dream, sir. And which actually we do.
Right. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something interesting now. Okay. So, it actually helps me while I'm designing my content.
I had one suggestion again for the dream.
Yeah, Shazak. Yeah, go
Go
on.
ahead.
Carry on.
I was actually trying out a few combinations, but I'm sticking to the words which Sir has given. I was thinking driving excellence to achieve milestones.
So how will R? R is driving.
DR.
DR, okay.
Driving.
Excellence to achieve milestones.
Driving resilient excellence to achieve milestones.
Nice.
Driving resilient.
Resilient.
Yeah. Good.
Nice. So yeah, creative hats are coming up. Great. So Dr. Dawes, you got another one.
It could be resilience and excellence, right? Driving resilience and I'm resilient, I'm saying resilience, but either way works.
An excellence to achieve milestones.
Good.
Nice.
This is also good.
Superb. I think this is something which is going to catch a lot of
You
attention.
have rightly demonstrated it is basically a lot of brainstorming is required. So that helps a lot.
Mhm.
Instead of one mind, many minds work better.
Correct. Very nice. Okay, now let me show you a quick trick of which I normally use because in content we also have to type a lot of things and write a lot of things, or maybe I'm doing some research and there's some book from where I need to copy something, or from Google I want to take something. Or there is some lecture or something which is going on in YouTube, and I want to. I want that particular text or that dialogue, which has been delivered in YouTube into my content. So there's a quick trick which I do, and so I'll just quickly show that to you people, and maybe you can also use that while you are doing this. So I'll try to share my screen and just open my Google out here. So I'll click on Google. So Google has opened. So here what I'll do is I'll go to Google Docs.
Before this, Partho, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So you talked about content and so many things about content and designing content. And we have been talking how passionate you are about content development, etc. So my question is, how do you develop content? What is the technique or strategy you do? We would love to. At least I would love to know. I don't know about others.
All right. So I just stopped my screen there, and I'm going to show that a little later then. All right. So I'll make it a little quick. So what I normally do is I suppose like Dr. Dabas was saying that he has to deliver his session in Friday. So today is Wednesday, so we just have 2 more days. So suppose I've got 5 days. Suppose it's Monday today, and I have to deliver on Friday, and I've got 5 days to deliver a session. So what I do is this 5 days I break it up into different activities. So the first 2 days, that is Monday and Tuesday, I will do only research on that particular subject. Okay, so I'll get into Google, I'll get into different places, I'll read books, I'll find out some other journals, I'll get into YouTube, and there are a lot of learning materials available in the YouTube. So I'll do complete research for the first 2 days.
Sorry for that.
So all this while I was audible, right?
Yeah, you were.
Okay. All right. So I'll do a lot of research, and once that research is done, I will keep on dumping those material that I'm finding which is useful in a particular folder during this entire Monday and Tuesday. Because on Monday and Tuesday I don't read much. I'm finding something which is relevant, I just copy it or take that and dump it somewhere in a particular folder. So Monday and Tuesday, 2 days is gone completely on research and dumping it there. So Wednesday, I'm going to read whatever that I have dumped, and I need to filter that what relevant I can pick it from there, and I can put it there. So that filtration process I'll spend the entire day on Wednesday. Now my delivery is on Friday, so I still have 1 more day in between, right? So from Wednesday evening onwards, now that I've got whatever that I want, And by this 3 days, I will also try to visualize the structure. As I was saying, just like a building a sculpture kind of a thing. So I'll have some image in my head that, okay, this is how I want to place and this is the thing. So then I'll start, putting that in a PowerPoint slide or whichever way that I want to do that. So I'll spend the entire Wednesday evening and Thursday, at least till afternoon 4 o'clock, 5ish, I will try to put it in my slides or content or whatever. Thursday evening, since my delivery is on Friday, so I will now start doing rehearsals on that. So maybe, I'll try to record my session for some time, or maybe I'll time my delivery, or I'll do the practice in front of a mirror, or maybe, I'll get hold of someone, friend like you or someone else where, I'll do some demo sessions to understand how it is happening and all those things. If there are tools, then I'll try to use those tools and practice myself so that Friday morning I'm completely ready. So what I'm trying to tell you is that whenever we are trying to do a delivery or something, and I'm trying to build up something from scratch, I require 5 days time. If I need to do justice to that particular thing. Now, there could be people who can do it faster than me. Possible. At times, there are pressures from clients where, when we have to do a lot of things faster. But then we also try to do a lot of jugaad activities, and we try to get content from internet, and then try to tweak things. But then it's someone else's content, you're just trying to, but that's also possible because at times we don't have time, and then we have to, so another source is, let me tell you, slide share, SLIDE, slide share. So slide share is a brilliant place from where you can get a lot of content, ready-made contents. Okay, so while I have my Google page open, I'll just show that to you.
Partho,
So,
have they not stopped loading in SlideShare? Is it still active?
it is active. I just opened it day before yesterday also.
No, you can open, but then they have stopped, I think.
So just say slide share, and if you go into this, so these are a lot of things which you'll find here, and then from here you can do a search. Maybe say suppose communications. So I'll say communications. So once I hit on communications, so it will give me a lot of content out here. See, on communications. So these are all ready-made content. So from here you can look into it and you can get information. It is downloadable also. Not everything is downloadable, but majority of it is downloadable. You can download those things. So, and it might ask for a login ID. So how do you do a login? So just for a like we create a particular ID for any email ID or something, so it will just ask for some few details and you can do a login. You can also use your Google account for logging in. Another good way is just go to Google and just you want to say, I want to, communication skills kind of thing, or PowerPoint that I want. So I'll write communication skill PowerPoint, right? So once you do this, you will see again SlideShare is coming up. So you can maybe, open up this SlideShare, and over here also you will see that it will directly take you to the slides over here, right? So this is someone else's slide. There are 68 slides out here. So here it is giving you a download option also, see. So you can download this, right? And then you can edit in whatever way that you want. So there are others also. If you on this right hand side also, there are some recommended ones. So some communication planning, see over here on the right hand side, there are many others that you can look into. So maybe, I want to do this one, communications in public. So I'll click on this and this particular slide will open here. So there are 42 slides here. So you can just go one by one and see whatever. So these are ready-made stuff. So, and it is downloadable. You can download from here. So if you don't have much time and you want to go on with the ready-made stuff, then you can do this. But my recommendation is that even if you're downloading it, try to customize it a little bit. Otherwise, people will think that, okay, you've just downloaded stuff and there is no kind of ownership of yours or something like that. So you can just, tweak few things from there. Maybe just changing the font, or maybe, changing the color of the slide. Piche ka slide apne change kar diya, and, so those things can, maybe you remove this particular logo from here and you kind of make it yours kind of thing. So those things can be done. Right, so it's another beautiful way of finding information over the net if you don't have much time. So Abhirup, I hope I've been able to answer.
Right. Thank you so much. I think that's more of the ADDIE way, just to demonstrate and give an example how the ADDIE way wants to analyze, design, develop, and you know, evaluate, right? So yeah, good. Thank you.
Right. So let me come back to what I was showing. So I'm in my Google, and then I go to Docs. So I'll find out where the Docs is. Yes, here's the Docs. So I'll click on Google Docs, and once that opens, I'll go to the new one. And once I go to the new one, over here, I can go to Tools. Okay. So there is File, Edit, View, Insert, Format, Tools. So I'll click on Tools. In Tools, there's something called voice typing. Right. So I'll do that one more time. I go to Google. From here, I go to Docs. So I open up Google Docs. I take a blank one. In the blank one, I go to Tools. In the Tools, there is something called voice typing. So I click on voice typing, and here you can see there's a speaker which is showing up. So it says click to speak. So I'll just click on this. So once I click on this, then what happens is whatever that I am talking to you right now, you can see it is typing. So I can now see Anupriya smiling. I can also see Shashank, is looking at me. Lakshmi Madam just took some notes. And I can also see that John is also looking at it very nicely. So this is another beautiful tool by which, I am just talking and it is typing. I will keep on talking and it will keep on typing. So this is a brilliant way that you don't have to type anything and your content is actually getting typed very easily. So what you have to do after that, once the content is typed, you just have to copy it from there and put it across. So brilliant tool, isn't it? Right? So how did you find this tool?
Wonderful.
Right? So this is what is happening is this is converting your text to typing. Right? So it's typing. Another good thing is that you can make it regional also. Right? So suppose Anupriya thinks that, okay, mujhe Punjabi mein chahiye. Right? Or I want to make it in Hindi. That's also possible. Shashank would say, no, I want it in Tamil or Telugu. Possible. Right? How do you do that? Suppose you select this text and over here, there's a language option. So from here, there's called this translate document. So you can use that particular thing. And then over here, there's an option which is called choose a language. So you can choose whatever language that you want. Right? So from here, suppose I want to change it to Bengali, then it will change that way. Or maybe, I'll try to see if Punjabi is there or maybe Hindi is there. Okay, Hindi is there. So I'll take Hindi. Okay, and I'll say translate. Okay, so it's trying to translate. Okay, translation. So you can create a regional content also if you want. Okay, so immediately translate. So let us see if we have any more regional languages. So what you can do is go to tools. We can go to translate document. From here, we just have to see. Do we have Tamil here? Let me see. Tamil or Telugu or something. Gujarati is there. Hindi is there. Okay, Malayalam is there. Marathi is there. Nepali is there. Punjabi is there. Yep. Anupriya.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Anupriya. You have to redo your laugh once again. We couldn't hear you.
Okay, that's wonderful. I
Right,
didn't
so
know.
you
I
can-
knew. I somehow knew the text to the voice to text thing, but not this translation.
So the point is, we should do some value addition. No, otherwise, आपको लगेगा कि अरे भाई घिसा पीटा बोल के गया. So at times, you have to also think that way too. What value addition can I do? What new can I give? Right. So this is another good thing which will help you to create your own regional, content, or if you want to translate something. So I'm just trying to see if we have Tamil and Telugu. I just quickly see QRST. Yes, we have got
Anupriya is an author. I'm sure she would know this voice to
Yeah,
text.
Tamil and Telugu is
Something
there.
interesting. How about video? Huh? You were talking about some video, YouTube or something.
Yeah, so it's converted to Telugu.
Oh my God.
Anna, Shashank?
It is Telugu, but I can't read it anyway.
Right. Okay. All right. So there's another way by which what you can do is, suppose, you actually open up maybe some kind of, video or something, or maybe, so there is some news maybe. So I'll just say news, okay? Or some kind of training or something which you have. So maybe I'm clicking on this. Now see, there is a difference. One is that I'm talking. So from my voice, so my computer has a speaker from which it is speaking up my voice and it is translating, right? Now this particular thing is an internal voice, because if I play this is not picking up the sound from my speaker, right? It's an internal thing inside, अंदर हो रहा है. So अगर अंदर हो रहा है, so this will not get picked up by Google, by the sheet which I showed, because it recognizes बाहर का voice. So I have to do some settings and changes so that it picks up this voice, internal voice, right? So for that, what we need to do is that in any of our thing, I don't know whether you were able to see this or not. In our taskbar, on the right hand side, niche, there is a speaker icon, right? For all of us, right? There's this date. Uske paas, there's a small speaker icon. Abhirup, is it visible? I don't think it's visible.
No, it's not visible.
Not visible. That's it. Anyway, so on the speaker, if you right click on the speaker, you will see that there is something called an open volume mixture. Then there is playback devices. Then there is recording devices, sounds, and troubleshoot, right? All those mentioned there. On the icon on the taskbar where we have got a speaker, if you right click on it, so these are the menus that you will find. In that, what you can do is, there is something called a recording devices on the third menu, on the third, right? You click on that. Once you click on that, there is another window which will open. Are you able to see that window?
No.
This window, are you able to see?
No.
No. Okay. Let me reshare. Okay. So once you do that, this window will open. This one will open. Abhi dikh raha hai na? Right? So over here you see my microphone is checked on and I'm speaking. This graph, see, this is just going up and down. That means it's picking up my voice from the microphone that is attached to my computer. Correct? Now I have to make my computer understand that don't pick up my voice from outside. Pick up the voice which is internally there. Right? So I have to make some changes. What is the changes? You see, there is something called a stereo mix out there. So I have to make this is disabled. So I have to enable this and make this as default one. Then what will happen? This will stop and this will get activated. And once this stops, you will not be able to hear me. Why? Because my external voice will get stopped. So even if I talk, you will not be able to hear me. Why? Because my microphone will not recognize my voice. Then it will start picking up the internal voice. Okay. So this is disabled. So what I need to do, I'll click on this. I'll do right click. I'll say enabled. Once I click enabled, you will not be able to hear me.
Okay, let me try and become your voice.
Right. So able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So we can hear me. I'll do disable here, then you can't hear me.
Right. So so we can't hear you anymore. Thank you so much. So you can enable the stereo mix. And now you can do whatever you wanted to show us. And let's see what you're planning to do. Yeah. So now what are you trying to say? You are again showing. So you are set default. So you do the default with the stereo mix and then you make it default and then you click OK. And once you make it default, you OK. And now Partho is sharing. So now what you will see is from the YouTube video. He will play the video and as he plays the video, we can actually hear the sound of the YouTube video through our Zoom. So so obviously Hindi would be difficult for Google to understand. So he's trying to get some English news so that is easier to translate. So that's what he has now. We have some, I don't know who's
Here,
this
all
guy.
of those
whoever.
things are what we're focused
So
on.
now you can see we can hear the YouTube video sound much better because he has shared the computer sound
Contacted
with
in
us.
early 2020 about this case.
So now it's an interesting accent this guy's sharing.
We didn't get the electronic evidence until
And so
July.
here he goes again to the
Once
docs.
we had the first hard drive
And
which
you will click
contained
a new document,
forensic images
blank
and police work
document,
on it.
go to tools,
It took us very long to figure out
go
that
to voice typing, click to
bad
speak.
had occurred.
Right. Essentially, what you seem to have found is that Rona Wilson's laptop had been infiltrated?
Right. So the timeline to us is fascinating. It's not something we've even heard of before. The laptop was initially compromised by NetWire, the NetWire remote access Trojan, June 13th, 2016. So the NetWire remote access Trojan is being controlled by the attacker as of that date. The hidden folder in which incriminating documents are placed was created November 3rd, 2016.
So I think he's not been able to pick up the accent so well, but still we get the point.
We are aware and incriminating documents was placed into that folder on April 6th, 2000.
So basically, so if you have some training content or a large YouTube video, like a 1 hour talk by Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins, so if you put this, it comes to as a document. You can use that in your content as well, rather than playing the video or something. You want to pick up certain important points. That's where you would be able to then put that into your content. Have the repository of data that you get becomes easier to manage. So
I'm back. So what did I do? I actually changed the setting and I enabled my microphone, and that's why I'm back. So by these two techniques, you can actually either while you speak, you can change it, and from internal you can change it by this way. So that way what will happen is you can create a lot of content and everything, and you don't have to type. Right? At times what happens is, you're busy, and there's something which is happening, some webinar which is happening, which you want to listen maybe later on. So you just do this and do other things. It'll keep on typing. And later on, you have the entire thing.
Don't do this in our ICAN program, by the way.
Right?
Okay, so how did you like this? Did you like this particular quick tool? Yeah, good. So do use that. So it's already 10:35, almost moving on to 10:40. Thank you so much again for being with us and for 2.5 hours. And we end yet another session, and that is day 2. And so tomorrow we'll move on to day 3, primarily into online delivery, online tools, energizers, and etc. So we'll talk about that. We'll do some energizers and we'll see how we can actually engage our audiences online. So thank you so much. Hope you have liked today's session, and we've been able to engage you as we had done yesterday. Yeah, so thank you, and do share any feedback if you have for the last 2 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Thank you, and see you tomorrow.
All right,
Good
bye-bye,
night.
bye-bye. Hey, we have a homework. We have a homework. We have a homework. YouTube video.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you can again, if you already have a YouTube channel, then do post a YouTube video. We would love to see how you're doing it. If you don't have a YouTube channel, do start a YouTube channel. It's very important to start a YouTube channel, and do post something in that YouTube channel, and let's see how you do that, because tomorrow it's all about selling, online delivery, and also let's see if you can do it. If you have the time, do that.
Okay, bye-bye, bye-bye. See you
Okay,
tomorrow at
bye-bye.
8 o'clock.
Bye-bye.
Bye and take care.
Thank you, bye-bye.